Welcome on in, you rascals. Tobin here with you, and thanks for checking out the channel. I hope you're doing well there. If you guys could subscribe, that'd be great, and appreciate you stopping by. So, I saw this. This was pretty cool. Norman Powell is playing for Team Jamaica. I love all the international stuff that is happening around the Miami Heat right now. We, of course, have covered the Eurobasket stuff. You got Nico and Team Serbia. That is going to take place. Pelle Larsson is officially with Team Sweden. They've started working out. Simone Fontecchio is with Team Italy. And there's a couple things that I'm excited about with Norman Powell, who's going to be on Team Jamaica, which is not in Eurobasket, by the way, just so you guys, geography can kick my ass too. Jamaica, not in Europe, but they are going to be playing in some FIBA tournaments to try and qualify for the Olympics. And Norman Powell was working out at FAU in Boca Raton. Hoot, hoot, go Owls. And was speaking to the media, some of the media that gathered. And he had talked about the idea that he lives in Vegas, works out at the UFC training facility, which is kind of cool. Kyle Lowry, I sat down with Kyle Lowry a couple times and talked to him about that. Norman Powell also seems to be into the fighting training, which Jamaica tie, by the way, for Norman Powell. And I think that this would be, I'm hoping to make this connection happen. But my guy, the Road Warrior, Glenn Johnson, former middleweight champion of the world, of course, from Jamaica, but also makes his home down here in South Florida. The Road Warrior, of course, the Miami Heat Road Warriors, legendary team. I would love to see a link up. If Norman Powell, if you're looking for a place to do your boxing, listen, I mean, no shade to this to anybody, because there's a lot of people I love who do gyms down here. I got great guys who run MMA gyms. I got great guys who run boxing gyms. But Glenn Powell, Glenn Johnson is that'd be a cool a hero of Jamaica with Norman Powell, who's now going to lead Team Jamaica. That would be kind of a Goosey's Galore thing to bring together at one point, even if it's just for one workout. But that would be pretty cool. Glenn Johnson, by the way, he does training down here. He is trained. He trains. He does some local shows down here. He trains local boxers. I believe he trains former Miami Hurricane Rafael Akbajori, who was trying to make his way up the heavyweight ranks. Giant dude. Used to play basketball and football for the Miami Hurricanes, which has also been with the Canes. Have had some. I don't know if people know this, but the Miami Hurricanes have had some boxers, dude. Like Alonzo Highsmith at one time was a heavyweight boxer. Quatrine Hill at one time was a boxer. Saw him knock a dude out at the Seminole Hard Rock Hotel, and a bunch of Canes alum were there. So, anywho, Norman Powell is working out in Boca, and he is getting ready to lead this team. And I think one of the things that I find interesting about this, and I think is going to be cool, is Norman Powell is going to get this opportunity to kind of bring a new team together and have some leadership and gusto. And I think this is an interesting point in Norman Powell's career, right? Because this guy has made it known that he thinks he should have been an all-star last year and sees himself as a 1 or a 2 on a team that does some damage. And there's something about Norman Powell that the more I hear him speak, the more I'm excited to see what he brings to the table for this Heat team, because it just feels kind of perfect in how this team is built and under the radar. And I will say, like, to be fair, the Heat have gotten a little bit of national love lately, and people are looking at them as there's no way that this team has the talent that they do and doesn't improve. It doesn't make sense they finished the record that they did last year. But I do think somebody like Norman Powell, who feels a little bit overlooked and disrespected, while I agree he's not a star and he's not the Lukas or the Giannis's, nobody's trying to say that, but could be an extra element and ingredient to this team that maybe brings them forth in a different type of way. We also know that Spo loves veteran guys and what they bring to the table. And he had said that to the media at FAU this past couple of days that, he had known, that it had sunk into him a little bit that, he knows that he'd been going after him, and that it feels a little full circle that it has come to this point, and he feels like it's going to be a seamless transition. He was telling some different outlets that. He told the conglomerate of media that, did I say that word right? I think I made that up. Everybody who had gathered, he had said it at the press conference. He also told Euro Hoops this, that he thinks it's going to be a seamless transition to the Miami Heat. Also, I didn't know this, boys with Kendrick Nunn. And when he was off watching in Greece, he said hello to big old Nunyans, Kendrick Nunn, and had gotten a little, you would figure that there would be a little bit of insight that Kendrick Nunn could give him into being part of the Miami Heat. But there's a tie there as well. But potentially the thing that gave me the most goosies when it comes to Norman Powell was a clip that was put out by the Miami Heat, which talked about the teammate he's most excited to play with. And the teammate that he mentioned was our favorite Kryptonian, Kel'el Ware. And I was like, oh, don't laugh at that. That's serious. That's serious business. My daughter Sophia's off in the room. She thinks that making the excited puppy sound is funny. No, you can't laugh. I'm doing a serious basketball segment here. So I'm just telling you that Norman Powell saying that Kel'el Ware is the guy who's excited. Like, can you think about these two guys you could look upon seriously as saying, like, hey, this could truly be the X factor to the Miami Heat? Because we all know, like, I talked in another video today about Bam and Tyler and the landmarks they're about to hit. And certainly I think, Bam having a better season throughout the whole season is going to be a big way. And he spoke about, clarity and everybody being in their roles and building together. I think that definitely can bring the Miami Heat in a great direction too. But an X factor for that would be, one, Norman Powell balls out and he proves to everybody in a contract year, yeah, I am that dude and I am worth this and I am worth that. And he can either get locked up by the Miami Heat, who, don't have Luke now, or can find somebody who is going to believe that he is that final piece to their team. I don't know, but that is an encouraging thing too. That money can be a good motivator as well. And you have a couple of guys here who are playing for big time contracts, and Tyler Hero and Norman Powell, and they can put themselves in some pretty great spots too. But with Kel'el Ware, that ability and that target that he can bring and that relief that he can bring to the Heat's guards. We already know that he has a good relationship with Tyler Hero, and Tyler Hero's done an unbelievable job in taking Kel'el Ware under his wing, even though he has small wingspan, and Kel'el Ware has the wingspan of a pterodactyl. It's not the point. It's a metaphor, you jerks. And what I'm trying to tell you is Tyler Hero's being a good leader. And Tyler already has done a great job of knowing the type of target that Kel'el Ware can be. But you have that with Norman Powell too, who obviously had a great relief last year in Ivica Zubac, who had a career year for the LA Clippers, who, is been around forever. I mean, he is a pain in the ass. I don't like that Zubac taking on, but I think that Norman Powell could be a big relief point in getting Kel'el Ware's development too. I think all of these guys, it's great to bring in more veterans and guys from the outside too. I think that's an important thing. I think that even Bam and Tyler have talked about like how important a guy like Kyle Lowry was to their careers and what he's brought to them as far as tutelage of the game and what they have learned and where they can go. So I think that having somebody like Norman Powell, who seems so geeked up to get to know the chemistry of the team. And I think the other thing that's going to be great about Norman Powell being with this Jamaican team is this is not a team that is getting a lot of time. He was talking about the idea that we're kind of being thrown together to try and win these games. And I think that's kind of an interesting thing because he's going to have the experience of trying to bring a team together and being part of guys already in the summer. And I think that that's going to be one of the beautiful things that a lot of these guys are going to have. And then you're going to get to a point in Heat camp where I think all these guys now have a collective cause and a whole journey of a season to go together that they've already had maybe the hard part of their summers done with because of trying to make everything cohesive with their national teams. So I'm just excited about it. I'm definitely fiending for Heat basketball. Don't get me wrong. I'm sitting here and I'm watching, Norman Powell Team Jamaica press conferences because that's how much I miss the Heat. I mean, I understand it's a little desperate, but I am. But also, it is genuine. I'm not being a loose goose floozy here. I do think that this is some exciting stuff. That's a serious statement. Don't laugh at that. I'm serious. Like, it's enough already. You've made this entire thing a joke.
Loser.
What?
Loser.
Jesus. Kids, hey, just to listen to you guys out here. kids are ruthless, no matter when they're adorable little squirts or they become teenagers.